What up, Facebook? This your girl, Brandy Grayson. I have been in incognito for some months, but I was motivated today to respond to the Racial Justice Summit held by Ywca Madison. They have multiple breakout sessions in which police officers are facilitating. And it's not that they have police officers facilitating workshops. It's the title of the workshops and the purpose of the workshops that got me all like, what the fuck is wrong with them? Who the fuck in this committee sat down and said, this is a great idea. Let's have a Jewish guy come in and a Latino guy come in who are police officers and let them teach the history of black people, starting with slavery. Well, first of all, I want to say that the idea of our history starting in slavery is racist. That is a narrative of the white supremacist ideology. Our history does not start in slavery. Our history started eons before slavery, thousands of years before slavery. We are the first. We are the first people. We are the first human beings. You see all this black melanin? Yeah, you can't get white without it. That's our history. That's the starting point of our history. But not even that. Like, how is it that, why is it? Because we just have to think and ask the question and ponder, why would YWCA Madison allow so many breakout sessions with police officers, facilitating them about black people? So that they can encourage or change or create a different kind of narrative, or encourage people not to be so upset or disappointed with Madison Police Department after they drug and beat a little girl. Is that the point? We need to mend relationships? I mean, I can hear Rachel Krinsky saying that. We need to mend relationships. We wrote some letters that were not necessarily or could be perceived in opposition to the police department, and that relationship is important to us at the YWCA, seeing that they fund some of our programs. I want to remind you guys the mission statement of the YWCA. It is to eliminate racism. Eliminate racism, meaning eradicate, get rid of, take away, get rid of it, right? Eliminate racism. But it's so funny that with a mission eliminating racism, that they consistently perpetuate racism within their own organization culture. We know it's racist as hell. That's why they have a change team, right? The change team developed because staff and people were like, hey, this organization is racist as hell, and we probably should try to address some of the racism within our own structure. And what is so ironic about it is that they teach cultural competence. White people teach other white people about cultural competence. I just want you to pause for a minute and think about that. When you have a group of people who breathe in racism, right? As soon as they're born, they're taught that they're superior. They walk in privilege. We know it for a fact. Scientifically, we know white people are conditioned to think and believe in certain ways. So you have white people telling other white people how to not be so racist and white. I'm just blown away by what I read. Like, okay, so we're gonna have a Jewish dude teach about African American history, a police officer. Then you're gonna have another police officer in another breakout section, Lester Moore, you know, the token black man of Madison Police Department. They put that brother on every cover, every article to say, we are good guys. See, we got good black officers. So they're gonna use him. And no pun to you, Lester. I love you. I like you. Look, it is what it is. You work for a system that uses the shit out of you. We all do. We all have at one point or another. But he's gonna facilitate a game with another police officer, facilitate a workshop, and they're going to, the participants will participate in a game in which they will talk about or take on roles of black men who are surviving poverty. So you're going to play a game about our real life, and it's going to be facilitated by cops. I don't know if you with me or not out there, Facebook world, but something's inherently wrong with that shit. Something is wrong with that. Now, if they want to come in and do a workshop on working while white in black communities, cool. Or the challenges of policing in today's climate. Cool. But you want to come in and talk about black people experiences. You want to teach about our history, and then you want to teach about our fucking struggles when you have no idea what it means to walk in our skin. And you're going to use the police department, the police officers, the one who capture us, beats us, harass us, arrest us, incarcerates us at a rate of 16-1 for our children and a rate to 11-1 of adults in Madison, Wisconsin. So you're going to have those same people come in front of other white people and tell them how not to be so racist. Folks who are trained to be racist. Racism exists in the very training of police officers. I don't know if you know that. Like, you're trained to be more racist. You're trained to be more afraid of black people and brown people than any other subset. Okay, so again, I don't know about this organization, but they're highly funded, they're highly respected, and I'm sure the committee that decided that this was a great idea was very enthusiastic and thought that they could like change the narrative of how police officers interact and is seen in Madison, Wisconsin. Guess what? It's not going to work. They're racist as hell. The statistics tell us so. Chief Colville tells us so. Every time he writes a blog, every time he defends the actions of one of his racist ass police officers. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with people? What is wrong with white liberals that they don't stop and think for a second the impact of their actions? Or, oh, that's right, they have the privilege of not having to think. With all their racial justice training and all their expertise, no one thought for a second that this might not be a good idea. They got a couple black employees left. I think, 3, maybe 4? They didn't think to run that by none of them? I know why they got rid of me. It's been very obvious. It was obvious from the start. I mean, come on. Like, if I would have saw that and Colleen or anybody would have called me and said, what do you feel about that? I would have said, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. If you want to teach African American history, you should probably have a black person teach about their history starting outside of slavery, because again, that is a foundation of the white narrative and white supremacy that got us thinking that we have been nothing but savages all our lives. So we became slaves and we were savages, and then they civilized us by giving us jobs for free. That's the narrative. That's what our children learn in school. We do know that the curriculum that is taught in public schools is racist too, right? I just can't. Like, this is just some dumb crap. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. I read that and I thought it was a joke. Like, this got to be a spoof article. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't have police officers coming to a racial justice summit, given the circumstances and the climate of, what's currently happening within Madison across our country. They wouldn't have a white man come in and teach about African American history. They wouldn't minimize our experience by making a game of it. Taught and facilitated by police officers. They wouldn't do that. Their mission is to eliminate racism. They train people in cultural competency. They provide racial justice training. And then we have to ask ourselves why it ain't working. What the hell are you teaching people when you go to their businesses to tell them how not to be so racist? Teaching them how to be more covertly racist? Because I'm telling you, YWCA Madison has mastered that skill. They have mastered it. How to be racist without being able to prove that we're racist. It's so covert and so subtle. You know, that white liberal old Midwest Madison, Wisconsin racism, where the white people smile in your face and tell you how brilliant you are and great you are and how they're happy to have you and how they appreciate your input from your black perspective, but in real life, in their mind, they're calling you the N-word. Yeah, that's Madison. And that is definitely YWCA. I can almost guarantee you in the next month or two, they'll fire a couple more black people. And they'll try to hire some black people that aren't so outspoken like me or conscious. Because it's not about me being outspoken. It's really about me being conscious and questioning things and being awake. They'll hire some other black person who don't complain, challenge, and is complacent. You know what kind of black person I'm talking about. Or some more brown people who just want to get along to get along. We don't want to push the envelope too hard. I know we have a radical mission, but that's not really our intention. because we're paid from racism. You know that, right? Like, if we eradicated racism, no one would have a job. Oh man. Yeah, that's not our objective here. No, that's not our objective. We actually teach other white people how to maintain their racism without being noticed. That should be the YWCA Madison's mission. This shit is ridiculous.